Thank you for doing this. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me here, Shijit.
Yeah. Uh, Most of the people I've seen around me have a fitness journey from fat to fit, but yours is kind of a unique journey around me because your journey was from skinny to lean muscular. Can you walk us through your journey?
Yes, definitely. So throughout my childhood, I was extremely skinny, and for that reason, I was bullied a lot as well. Be it school, be it high school, be it college, everywhere it was. I mean, I was a center of attraction in the wrong way, you can say. But every single time, I would say I'm actually thankful to those critics, those making fun of me, is because that actually helped me channel all that negative comments into something which actually helped me achieve my goals. And the problem was, like you mentioned, being skinny to fit is something that 10 years back was not very relevant. I mean, people didn't know what to talk about. People still had some answers for people trying to lose weight, but gaining was like they clearly had no idea, because at least in here, where I was, nobody talked about body composition and all. It was only weight. इतना वेट कर ले, इतना वेट बना ले, इतना वेट हो जाएगा. You eat this, you eat that, you eat a lot of things, you eat raw eggs, and so many myths around. And initially, I was actually trying out multiple things because I was so desperate to gain weight. But I started studying. I mean, and studying, and that really helped me a lot in terms of getting more aware about fitness, nutrition, exercise science, and all these things. So, the best thing was I learned from experience. Everything I applied, I knew what is working, what is not, and then I got into more into research-based education and started reading more research-based articles, not the general Google articles, and that taught me a lot. And that is why my transformation actually took 4 5 6 years. Actually, it took a longer time because there was a lot of hit and trial. There was a lot of experimentation, and there was no proper guidance. And this particular reason became my motive, that I didn't want anybody like me to go through that process, because it was not easy. People would love to have proper guidance, and that's why when JC came up with the idea that he wants to start a community and make fitness education more available to overall audience, everyone out there, I was quite excited to jump into it, and that's how I was a co-founding member of Squats back then. So that really helped me get into fitness full time, and I used to work in IT before. And so the journey, if you talk about my transformation journey, it was not just a physical transformation, it was more or less complete holistic transformation, because it not just gave me a confidence to uh, be confident as a person or look good in general, but it also shaped my mind that we can break through barriers. I was into IT. The city, the town that I city तो बड़ी बात हो गई. I was in a very small town. The town I came from was, people only knew engineer or doctor. That's the only two profile that people knew about.
I think even
So
now the people have a conception that there are only two major fields, engineering or being a doctor, and all other are.
yes, absolutely. I mean, still I see a lot of teenagers. I'm actually interning few teenagers. I'll be interning few teenagers for fitness and nutrition now. So it's quite exciting to know that these things exist now. And but back then, while I was working into IT, I was wondering, 4 साल की पढ़ाई करी है इंजीनियरिंग की, उसके बाद आईटी जॉब है. आई एम वर्किंग इन एन एमएनसी. I was about to get an on-site opportunity. That's like a dream thing for any IT professional. And I actually quit it because I wanted to give my full time to sports back then. So that's how my journey started, and it was much more than just a physical transformation.
So, was there a trigger point or an event that happened in your life that you decided, no, now I'm going from skinny and now I'm going to start building my body, starting to concentrate on nutrition or anything? Was there a trigger point that enabled it?
Yes, I mean, not just one trigger point, multiple trigger points actually. Throughout school life, I was extremely good with academics. I was good with extracurricular activities as well, apart from sports. But one thing that was there was, even though I would end up completing the race the last, I would not never give up. I would still complete it, even though it made no sense. I mean, जो जीत चुका है, winners announced हो चुके हैं, but I would complete my lap. So that is one thing that was always there. It was not that it was never there. It always there. I just started using that, that never not giving up on things easily, continue to do that. And my goal was not to get big, because I didn't want to get fat either. I always wanted to be muscular. I always idolized people who had great muscles. So my idea of putting on was never, I just want to get big, I just want to look good in clothes. I always had this goal that I should look good off clothes. So that was my goal. So that actually helped me learn a lot, because then I was able to focus more on body composition. I've seen the world of bodybuilding. I started very early in terms of training, even though it didn't work out because it was not strategic, it was not scientific. But I was involved from my school days to that. I used to talk to certain bodybuilders, see how they competed, how they prepared themselves. I be a part of that journey, trained under them at times as well. Didn't work out, but at least that gave me a direction that, okay, this is how things go on, and what is the gap, what is the current gap in the industry, and that helped me learn a lot.
So you touched on this topic a little bit about how you met JC and how you were a part of FITTR, which was known as Squats initially. But working in an IT industry, can you uh, dig deep into a little bit of how this happened?
It is funny actually. I joined one of the top international companies, and I joined on Monday, and Friday I put my resignation. So it was I was sitting in a meeting room. I was given an amazing opportunity in IT, and I was wondering, what am I doing here? Let's, okay, fine, I'll earn a lot here, but is it what I want to do even after 10 years from now? That's when it clicked in. I mean, I need to take a call now, or it is never going to happen, because 6 years into the IT industry, I was used to that salary. I thought, when I started, my first salary was 17,000, and I was like, wow, I got so much. Few months later, I wanted to earn more. Then I wanted to earn more, and every single time I switched companies or I got a raise, it was never enough. So finance wise, I realized that is never going to be enough. So before quitting IT industry, I was like thinking a bit, taking some, saving some, or letting my close friends know that I might need help if I completely get out of it. But I started doing it. So but still, it was not a very calculated risk. If I have to suggest someone what should you do to switch careers, I would not advise what I did, because I took a decision based on my intuition that I should go ahead with it, because I had so much belief in this sports community, that actually helped me a lot. It was not that, probably unintentionally, it was a quite calculated risk, but because I believed in the community. But people nowadays, the startup culture is going, and people are just quitting their job without having any financial support. That is tough. You need to be mentally stable, you need to be financially stable if you want to switch. But back then, of course, that was not there for me, but fortunately it turned out really, really great. I was earning much more than what I got as a new salary hike in the new company, even in the first month itself. So that was a, I would say, luck, or I would say destiny. I don't know what it was, but fortunately it was good for me. But if I have to suggest someone that if you want to switch like that, you need to take some calculated risk. But that passion to help people in their fitness journey, to make them more aware, that was something that I always woke up and was happy to do it. So that feeling itself was enough.
Yeah. There's this person in the US. He owns a company called AngelList, which is a hedge fund company. He kind of gives philosophical tweets also on Twitter, and he once mentioned in one of his tweets. His name is Naval Ravikant. He once mentioned the three biggest addictions in life are drugs, carbs, and monthly salary, and that's what you touched upon before. So if you can get
True.
rid of these three, probably you'll make great progress in life.
Yes.
So nowadays there's so much information about fitness on the internet. I know that too much information can be overwhelming at times, because beginners don't know what to follow, what not to follow. Probably this is an advantage for people who are already into fitness. They can use these resources to their advantage. But for as far as the beginners who want to start their journey, it's kind of very difficult for them. So what would you like to tell people who want to start this journey of fitness in terms of exercise and nutrition?
Actually, the reverse is true. People already into the fitness industry, let's say there are two kinds of people who are into fitness industry, and the other person is also into fitness industry. The one with the right kind of knowledge is great. The one with the wrong kind of knowledge, or I
Bro
would not say
science.
wrong, misinformations or myths, if they have that belief system already there, it's very difficult to change that. A beginner, however, is a plain canvas.
Right.
He knows nothing, she knows nothing about this particular subject, so she is going to believe whatever is being told to her or him. So that is, it's actually easier to coach people who are completely new to the industry, but it is difficult to coach people who have been into the industry but they have their own thought process, they have their own ideologies in terms of fitness, because belief system is so um, influential that it will have so much impact that you start believing that the belief is a reality.
Right.
So people who believe that okay, carbs makes them fat or keto is the only way to lose fat, uh, it's very difficult for them to believe otherwise. They're not going to dig into a calorie deficit or get into the real concepts of what fat loss, how body works. They just believe that because that worked for them, and the reason it has worked for them anyways proves the underlying theory that calorie deficit is the key. But they are not thinking from that perspective, right? They are thinking, oh, I did keto so I lost, or probably I did not eat carbs so I did not gain fat. So people people believe that, but people who are completely new, they will do anything because for them you are the expert. So whatever you are saying, probably that's right, because when you even go to the gym and whatever the gym trainer says, you're going to believe it, right? Because you think, you believe that that person is a subject matter expert. So that this is how the current scenario is. It's difficult to coach people with an existing belief system. However, it's actually easier to coach people who are clueless about fitness, honestly.
Right. So for a person, if he wants to start going into working out, how should he start and where should he begin?
So to start with, the first thing is set the goal, of course. Now, once the goal is set, I would say forget the goal.
Okay.
The reason I set the goal in first place is to figure out what would be the action steps required to achieve that.
Okay.
Now, once the action steps are done, the goal is no more important. Why? because the journey is very important.
Right.
If the journey is not sustainable, if the journey is not giving you benefits, if the journey is not helping you in some way, you're not going to continue it.
Right.
So actually, the more than the goal itself, the why behind that goal matters. Why
Okay.
am I doing it? Let's say I want to get fit. Now, fit is a very vague term. What is fitness to you? What do you want to achieve? Do you want to gain muscles? Do you want to build endurance? Do you want to be fast as possible? All these are fitness aspects, right? So define that. Why do you want to achieve that fitness? What are you going to get out of it? That why should be, that why will drive you through the journey. If that why is not clear, if you don't know, if you don't have the clarity on that why, and you don't realize the price that you will have to pay, of course you're going to achieve that fit body, you beach body you want, because you want to be fit and spend time with your family even when you're older. That is a why, by the way. But what is the price that you're going to pay for it? Why is, chalo, I, and you have realized your why, so that's a great point. But why are you what is the cost that you will pay for it? The cost will be that you will be taking care of your nutrition. So now you cannot just be random about your food habits. You will have to make, you have to do some portion control, at least to some extent you will have to do that. um, you will have to be consistent with your workouts. Okay, so because if you don't realize, you also don't realize the price that the price that you will have to pay for achieving that goal, again you will not be able to continue. So the reason behind setting a goal is to set the why and set the prices that you will pay, and you have to figure out a sustainable way that you can follow. So somebody starting to work out should figure out how many days in a week can he or she work out,
Right.
how much time he or she can give it to it, and don't overcommit here. The minimum amount of time that you can give. Think about the bare minimum. Is it 20 minutes? Is it 30 minutes? Because what happens is when you saw a video and you got motivated, you would be willing to put 1.5 hours to work out. This is going to anyways fade away in few days, because now that once you start getting into normal life, you start forgetting things about, oh, that video. Okay, so now you need to find that how many days, what is sustainable, when can I work out, what time can I work out. All these things are important to identify first, and then start slow. Focus on the form and technique. Focus on how efficiently are you utilizing that time. Focus on basic nutrition, being aware what how many meals would you be eating, what frequency is more sustainable for you, how can you add protein in each of the meals. These are very basic. I mean, you are basically exploring the shallow waters now,
Right.
so that you are so confident that you can get into the deep ocean.
Right.
Otherwise, what will happen is, if you directly, just because you had one swimming class and you directly jump into the deep ocean, you might not just be, you might have a panic attack, right?
Recipe for
Might not
disaster.
be. Exactly, you're setting a recipe for disaster there, then there and there itself. So you're doomed to fail, right? So it's very important that you bring in the sustainability, and you realize the why, and you realize the price that you have to pay for it. That's the first step that any beginner should sit and actually write it down on a pen and paper, because that will, he will remind him or her all the time. And start slow, always start slow, otherwise it is not going to be sustainable. The moment you make, let's say you want to create a habit, if, so this is new, fitness is new, so you want to create a habit. Why do you want to create a habit? Because habits are easy to follow.
Right.
Now to make that habit a habit, you have to make it easier, relatively easier. If you make it difficult, it's very, your body is going to resist. Your body doesn't want to get out of the comfort zone, and you're making it extremely uncomfortable for the body. It's very important that you start slow. See what kind of training you like. Is it strength? Is it cardio? Is it playing a sport? Is it pilates? Is it yoga? Is it calisthenics? What kind of things? Explore different things. See what you like the most, stick to it. If you stick to it long enough, you'll automatically get that, and you will start in realizing what you like more, and you will do more of that. As simple as that.
Right. So when I was in India, whenever I visited a gym, I always saw so many floor trainers. Um, I I had a preconceived notion in my mind that, if you want to make body, somebody has to be behind you to give you a spot while any exercise you do. But working out in the gyms in the US, I realized that there were no floor trainers at all. You enter the gym, you do whatever you want to do, and you get out. And unless you're lifting heavy weights, you might call somebody to come give you a spot, but otherwise you are on your own. And I've heard people saying that, hey, I go to the gym, but there's nobody to spot me, or I don't know what the correct form is. So how I've dealt with it is through the FITTR app. If you go into any of the exercises, it has a correct form, and then I look into the mirror, I see if I am doing the correct form. That's how I do it. Is there any better technique that you would say people can follow?
Yes, I mean that's a very valid point there. People who are extremely new to the journey, yes, workout form and technique is important. Like I said, I mean anybody new to that should focus on the form and technique. Intensity, load, progression, all these things are things that you will do later. You need to learn how to crawl before you start running, right? So now, as a baby, also, nobody taught us how to crawl. Probably we gave some instruction, but the baby did not understand. Most probably, the baby didn't understand. He or she figured out a way on how to do it. And there were wrong techniques, there were missteps, there were failures, there were we fell sometime. All that happened in the past, but we eventually learned. We started doing that. But as you go to the gym, of course, the instructional videos are very, very crucial, because that tells you how to do it. The best way is, what I tell my clients is, see the video, you do it, record yourself, compare the videos, see where you're doing wrong, you will get to know where you're. So there is where you get your feedback.
Right.
Because if somebody else is telling you're doing this wrong, you're pushing your hips, you're not pushing your hips back, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you might be wondering, bhai kya bol raha hai, mujhe nahi samajh mein aa raha, I'm not able to do that. But once you see your video, you know where you're going wrong. This is where the difference is, right? So that way it helps. And for a beginner, I would always recommend use more machines, because there's very less scope that you'll not do properly, because machine has a planned trajectory. This is how the machine is going to move. It will not go out of place. Free weights, I would say, break it down into simpler movements, like rather than doing a barbell squat, do a body weight squat. And even before doing a body weight squat, start with a chair squat, where you just sit down on a chair and get up, and that's basically squat. uh, Eventually you remove the chair and you're doing squat. Obviously, when you remove the chair, the way the squat looks is going to be different, because now your body is going to manage the center of mass of the body. So, but that's a learning curve that your body will automatically do. Your body is supposed to maintain the center of gravity so that you don't fall. So body will take movements, move in such a way that you don't fall. That's how the muscles and joints work. So there is nothing new about your body, already will do that. But following instructional videos really help, and breaking down the complex movements into smaller, simpler parts is the best way to approach in the initial days. Eventually you just start learning techniques, learn as skills. These are skills that you learn, and then start focusing on the weights, repetitions, sets, all those things.
You mentioned various forms of workout like strength training, cardiovascular training, resistance training. I saw a few videos of yours. Is it Parker training?
Parkour training, yes.
Parker training. So, what kind of training should you select, and is the training based off of your end goal?
It is it is always based on your end goal, because so every training protocol is a tool. So now you have a goal. Let's say I have a goal that I want to build good strength levels. Okay. Now Now I'll see what are the resources available. It's like I want to build something, what all resources would be required, right? Similarly, I would see for what all resources are there. If I want to build strength, I can build that with body weight training also. I can build that with gym based training also. I can build that with Pilates also. I can build that with calisthenics also. I can do that with yoga also. But then I need to think which particular tool is going to be the most effective in doing so. Which tool will help me achieve that particular thing in the shortest span of time. So that is the most effective tool. If you want to gain strength, doing a gym based training or something which involves added assistance from machines or weights, these are going to help me a lot because I'll get faster, right? I'll get strong faster. When it comes to body weight training, I have a limiting factor. I have a limiting factor that I need to know how to do a handstand. I need to do that. You will gain strength there also. But if your end goal is actually building a lot of strength, then I would recommend that do more of gym based training and combine with body weight training if you like to do it. Not that you're not going to gain strength with just body weight training. You will, because I love calisthenics. It's a form of body weight training. But if I have two tools and I can use both the tools to my favor, I'll use both of them. So I actually smile when I look at post which particular training program is better. Should I do strength? Should I do calisthenics? Should I do Pilates? All of these tools are available to me. Why not I use the best combination and do what helps me achieve my goal the fastest possible way? That's how my approach is. There's nothing good, there is nothing bad. It's only what helps me achieve my goal faster.
Sir, first of all, I would like to say that you have great content on your Instagram page.
Thank
It
you so
has helped
much.
me a lot. Specifically, the small techniques that you teach in your 15 to 30-minute video, where you completely focus on one small portion, and that I have implemented few of those techniques in my life, and they've really helped me achieve great success. So one of the techniques that you talked about is the body warm up or the ramp technique. And
Yes.
how important is body warm up and stretching when it comes to exercise?
So the RAM technique is basically raise, activate, mobilize, and potentiate. So I'll individually explain. Warm up is basically that now my body is at rest. So my body is not prepared to handle anything intense. So if something intense happens, my body is going to get into a shock state, or it might the reflex action might lead to such a reaction that I might get injured because my muscles are not, my blood flow is not that strong right now. It's not flowing that much that it will after a warm up. All these things are very important. A warm up is important because it prepares your body to for an intense activity that you have already planned. It's a great way to do it. When you're doing a planned activity, a good warm up always helps because it is going to enhance the workout. Now, a lot of people also do a mistake with warm up is they will do so much warm up that by the time they're done with warm up, they have no energy left to do the actual workout. So warm up should be as small as possible, but enough. So the technique is the warm up first technique is R, wherein you're raising your body temperature. So you're elevating your body temperature probably by 1 degree centigrade so that the blood flow is enough, your muscles are warmed up, the joints are activated. Then you are doing the actual activation and mobilization. Now activation and mobilization is wherein you are telling your muscles, let's say I want to do lower body, so I'll do some dynamic stretches. I'll move my joints of my lower body, of even some of my upper body, because those are going to be involved, so that I'm telling my mind, I'm communicating to my mind that I am going to do a lot more communication than this in the next 30-40 minutes. So I'm activating the communication channel, I am activating the muscles, I'm mobilizing my joints so that they don't go through something which they are not prepared to do. So that is the thing. Potentiate, which is basically meaning that I am rehearsing certain movement patterns so that I get better at it. I am trying to do something which will improve my performance of those particular areas, the muscle groups, the joints, everything. That is going to enhance the performance of my body. So anything which mimics the particular workout. So if I have to do squat, I'll do some body weight squat before that. If I have to do some chest heavy bench press, I'll do some lightweight dumbbell press, or I'll just do some push-ups. So these are exercise specific exercises that I'm doing before the actual exercise, or before every set of a particular exercise, I'll do some light warm-up sets that will help me potentiate as well. So this is what a warm-up is. It need not be very long. It can be as short as 5 to 10 minutes. It can be 15 minutes, but I would suggest not to overdo it. So much so that you are not able to um, work out. And we usually do the dynamic movements first, not the static stretches, because some of the researchers have shown that doing static stretches before a particular um, weight training exercise or power or strength based exercise, it might just reduce the performance because it relaxes the muscles, it is stretching the muscle. We want to create that tension. It's like, when is the spring strongest? The spring is strongest when there is enough tension there. The moment you stretch it and they lose their they lose their tension, they don't have that strength anymore. So you don't want to keep static stretching to the end, wherein you're doing a stretch and holding that stretch for a while. But the dynamic ones, the ones wherein you move your arms, you move your legs, all these things will be done before your workout.
What do you recommend to do after the workout, before you leave the gym or before you end your exercise? What would you suggest that we should do?
Re-rack the weights. So that because a lot of people forget it, and that is the first thing that you need to do. Cool down is something I'm supposing that you were aiming at the cool down factor. Your body will cool down anyways, so it's not a necessity, but it's good to bring back your body temperature and everything back to normal before you step out. Because um, let's say you are in a country wherein there is extreme cold outside and you are too warm, and then you suddenly enter that time zone, your body goes through a shock actually. Or you have a cardiovascular issue, you don't want to keep your heart rate up for a very long time, so you want to bring it at down. But in general, if you don't have any medical issues, honestly speaking, there's not much use of cool down as such. But like I said, static stretching also helps. You should have a basic amount of flexibility, if not extreme flexibility. Uh, if you aim extreme flexibility, go ahead, do that. But it's not necessary for everyone. But a basic flexibility, so much so that you have an active, good range of motion for every joint. That's enough. So if you see there is a restriction, if you see there are certain tight muscle groups, you would want to stretch it out before ending your session. So that is how you can use, or you can just spend 2-3 minutes in meditating or sitting in a position. That's all.
um, in my gym, I've seen people doing 15 to 20 minutes of sauna after their workout. So putting your body into high temperature, does it help your body, and in what way?
See, it helps the body. Why? Because what does temperature do? It is going to increase the blood flow.
Okay.
So it creates a condition called vasodilation, which is like your blood vessels open up and there is extreme blood flow because there is extreme temperature. Why the blood flow is going? So that it can generate a lot of heat. It can just match the temperature of your body to the outside temperature. So it feels normal, because if your body temperature is way too different, then you might not be able to adapt to that uh, uh, situation, right? But what happens in cold temperature is like your blood vessels constrict, right? So they narrow down, and now that is again a way that you are actually slowing down the blood flow to certain areas, because you don't want inflammation to be caused. So at times we do that, right? When if something hits us, we put ice pack on it, so we are trying to cool down. We don't want a lot of blood flow, otherwise there will be inflammation. So both have their benefits. but they don't have so much benefit that it is going to change things completely for you. Okay.
Right.
So it's great. You go to sauna, your pores open up, you are removing toxins from your body, you are sweating out. Great. Is it a necessity? Not really.
I've seen, especially the fighter athletes who do MMA or who do perform boxing. They do these sessions where they pour ice into bathtubs. They go into sauna, sit in the sauna for a few minutes, and then sit in the ice. Like they're putting their bodies into hot temperature and suddenly a cold temperature. Is that a technique that athletes use, and what does that do?
It see, there are various reasons for that. One is they these athletes that you spoke about, they are into high intensity training, so they have extremely intense sessions. You don't know what is going to be. There is so much adrenaline rush. There is so much of intensity going on. The heart rate is so high. So you're going through extreme conditions, and they are simulating those conditions in their real-time scenarios by changing the environment.
Right.
Also, they are trying to get the best out of both. Like I said, you are, when you want more blood flow to happen, you are going to get into a hot temperature, so you take a sauna. You want more blood flow to happen so that your recovery improves when there is more blood flow. When you want the inflammation to go down, you enter a cryo chamber, or a water immersion technique, ice immersion technique that you use. You want to restrict the vessel, you want to constrict the vessels, and you want to slow down the blood flow to that. But the pressure goes high because now it's restricted, so the pressure is high. But it is slowing down the inflammation for you. Both have their positives. So they are trying to mimic one, the extreme change in environment, and they are trying to get the best out of both the things, recovery and getting the best out of the techniques.
What, according to you, is the role of supplements in building your body? So when I talk about supplements, I talk about multivitamins, proteins, and all other hundreds and thousands of products that are available there out in the market. Do you really need them, or what are the scenarios in which you should consume any of these supplements?
Supplements, I would say they play a 3 to 5% role in your fitness goals. Okay. Uh, now the supplement, sorry, there are dogs in the background, so it might cause
That's
issues.
okay.
So supplement is, then let's look at the meaning of a supplementation. Supplement basically means you're supplementing something. If you're falling short on protein, you supplement it with whey. If you're falling short on nutrients, you supplement with multivitamins. If you're falling short on something, then you supplement it with that. That's the goal of a supplement. It doesn't replaces your nutrition. It supplements for the shortcomings in your nutrition, for the shortfall in your nutrition. That's the goal of a supplement, and that's how it should be used. If your diet is on point, if your nutrition is on point, you don't need supplementation. If you're struggling to meet your needs, then you might want to supplement. So that's the goal of a supplement. It is not going to enhance anything by a huge margin. There are few enhancers like having caffeine that gives you some focus, and it also helps build some strength. Then there is a supplement, there's a very good supplement actually, which is creatine. It helps you get stronger, but the impact is not immediate. It will happen over time. So these are certain supplements that I also use. But in general, the other supplements, if you say that is it necessary, it's not necessary. You can do with just your diet. But wherever, if you feel that you are falling short, you're not able to eat enough protein in your diet, if you're missing out on fibers, if you're missing out on nutrients, you're not eating enough vegetables and fruits, or your calories are so low that you might be missing out on certain nutrients, then you do want to supplement it. That's the goal of a supplement.
So, are there any resources available online that people can refer to, or somebody who doesn't know anything about supplementation, supplements, and wants to refer to this website or refer to any PDFs? Do you recommend anything that they can see and implement those supplements in their life?
There is a very good website for this particular part, supplementation specifically. It's examine.com,
Okay.
examine.com. So there are tons of researches for each and every supplement that you would want to explore. You will see the pros, you will see the cons, you will see the efficacy of it, you will see most of the researches that has been done on those supplements. So that's a really good, it's a go-to site for checking out any supplement if it works or not.
Right. Nowadays, I've seen these Instagram influencers who've started doing vitamin drips. Are you aware of these?
I've seen few, but I tend to ignore such things because I tend to not get into things which is not helping me.
Right. I'm going a little bit off topic here, but I saw one of your Instagram posts where you were getting an award from the CM of the state, and you were not able to shake your hand. Can you tell
Correct.
us a little bit about that?
Yes, I mean, I actually grew up in a very, very small town, and I used to be spending a lot of hours in studying. And I was always competitive in nature. So, and I still remember that competition. It was a drawing competition that I had got a certificate for. So I stood second in that drawing competition, and that was one of my first achievements. And I was very, very nervous, and I just didn't know what to do. I was so busy collecting that certificate that I forgot that it's the CM standing right in front of me, and I used my left hand to shake hands. And I was busy just collecting the prize, and I was so happy. I was a kid. I was so happy doing that. So and actually that teaches us so much that it's not about um, the like I always say, the why is so important. The feeling that you are going to get once you achieve that is the why. That is so important that you forget that you have achieved the goal.
Right.
At that point of time, it doesn't, you forget what has, how difficult the journey has been. You just enjoy the feeling you get out of
Right.
it. So
Right.
that was the first thing. And then post that, there was a many certificate, many awards that I got. But that is one thing that I wanted to share, is because I didn't know much about all these things, and I didn't, and nobody told me that I can do this, I can do that. I just realized that if you put in effort, you can achieve anything.
Right. Jumping back on our topic, what is the importance of water, and what is the importance of sleep when it comes to fitness?
Extremely important, I would say. These two things are something that you don't want to mess with. I would not get into researches and stuff. It's not needed, because it's not needed to prove my point here. If you don't drink enough water, you're going to be dehydrated. You need, and I mean, also we studied in our school only. I guess irrespective of the commerce or science background, everybody studied that we are 55 to 65% body is made up of water. So if that is how the body is made up of, you realize how important it is to consume. And water is the way your body uh, delivers nutrients, that composes blood, that that is there in every cell of your body, that helps remove toxins. It hydrates you. The moment you're dehydrated, the performance goes down. You need medical attention if you are extremely dehydrated. So that's how important water is. So if you're meeting 3 to 4 liters of water per day, it's good. If not, work up to that level. Coming to sleep, again, if you did not have a good sleep last night, your work productivity is going to be crap. You are not going to feel good. You are going to be very fatigued. So that's how important the sleep is. And even the researchers have shown that if you don't sleep enough, you might, and if you're trying to lose weight, lose fat specifically, you might end up losing more of muscle mass if you don't sleep enough. Now, while you're sleeping, there are a lot of hormones that get produced in your body, which is really, really important for you, specifically the growth hormones. So, sleep is so important. If you are not covering a good quantity of sleep, obviously the quality of sleep might go down. There are high chances. There would be cases wherein there people are able to do well even with 6 hours of sleep, but that's the kind of adaptation that they have made. But for most people, aim 7 to 8 hours of sleep, a straight sound sleep. That's very important.
I saw one of your posts when you were describing the three books that you always suggest people. I've read one of them, The Atomic Habits, and it talks about cue, route, and reward. So any habit you want to build has a cue and has a route on which you have to travel, and then finally you get a reward. So my
Correct.
question is, for people who are working, or for most of the people who are working from home, how can they build a habit where they they can make sure that they go and work out and not procrastinate?
It's something that has happened with many, even including me, I would say. When the first lockdown happened, it was something that nobody had predicted. Nobody was prepared for. So when we were going to office, we knew we are going to office, then we are going to the gym, or we are going to the gym and then we are going to office. So there was a clear boundary line there set. This is the place where I work. This is the place where I do this. This is the place where I rest. When home work from home started, there were no boundaries. You were work. You slept in the bed. You worked on the bed, and you remained on the bed. The workout started. I mean, people started missing out on the workout because there is no specific distinction where we should. So it's very important that you set the environment correct. Creating your own environment is extremely essential if you are working from home. You should have a space where you work. You should have a space where you work out. You should still dress for work, ideally, till the time it becomes a habit for you. But that still keeps you in the, if you are coming from a background wherein you used to dress up for work and then you dress up for workout, keep doing that. Have different spaces allocated, that this is where I would work, this is where I would work out, and this is where I would rest. Don't mix things up, because when you mix things up, it gets messy.
Right. Right. And so basically what you're trying to say is, as soon as you come home from work, get into your workout clothes, get into your workout shoes, and
Yes.
just go and work out.
Yes. And that way what will happen is, one, you're getting the vibe, you're creating that environment, you're creating that mindset that you are going to work out. Now you will enjoy working out, especially people who love to um, dress up, and people buy clothes, they're excited about going to the gym. Why do they do that? Because they love those apparels. They like to look at themselves wearing those apparel, so it gives them that boost that, okay, now I'm into that mode, I'm going to do that. Those That sets your mode basically. Are you on a sports mode or you are on a cruise control? So that is what defines it. So it's just keep doing things which is working for you. You don't need to change that if it is working for you.
Sir, what role does alcohol and smoking play when it comes to fitness?
See, fitness is not just about looking good. Fitness is about performance. Fitness is about also being healthy. And both the things, alcohol and cigarette smoking, itself says on the bottle or on the box that it is injurious to health. So of course, it is going to have an impact on your fitness levels as well. Because if you're not healthy, if there is any area, let's say your lungs are not performing to the best capacity, there is a performance dip, there is a health dip, so it is bad for fitness. If excess of alcohol is causing you hangover the next day, you're not able to recover, you did not sleep properly, or you overslept, or you just don't feel well, it is going to impact your performance. So even though you might not feel an immediate impact, but like I said, fitness is not just about looking good. So it's holistic. It has to do with your mind, it has to do with your body, it has to do with your soul. So you take care of your health as well. Do things in moderation, but don't do it in a way wherein you have lost control.
Right. Is there a specific duration that you can work out or follow a good nutrition to see a result? Uh, like where most of the fitter diets that you offer are 12 weeks. So how did you, what was the logic behind 12 weeks?
So it's as simple as setting the environment. That's basically building up to that level wherein you can go on a self-drive mode or an auto mode. 12 weeks doesn't mean that your goal is going to be achieved in 12 weeks. 12 weeks is something that you do at least for 12 weeks so that you get enough results, enough gratification, and it sets habits. So that is the logic behind 12 weeks. The goal of it setting a 12 week is not that we are going to achieve everything in 12 weeks. A lot of people achieve that in 12 weeks, but also for them, it's not about okay, six packs ho gaya, ab kya? They have to maintain it. So that journey cannot stop there. The process has to go on. So that is what, there's actually no end goal. Once you achieve an end goal, there is a new goal for you. So it could be maintaining yourself, it could be getting ahead. So you just keep doing that. So 12 weeks is a kickstarter, as simple as that.
I personally seen your journey, obviously on your Instagram, from your home gym in the balcony to your fancy home gym now. How was that?
So I always had a dream that I would have a gym at my house, because fitness is near and dear to me. Is that I want to keep, even if I usually don't really work out a lot at home, um, because I enjoy the gym vibe, and the kind of job that I do is mostly online, so there's a very less socializing. So gym at least gives me an exposure that I'm going out, I'm taking my bike out, I'm taking my car out. So I love doing that as well. That gives me an excuse that I have to go out and I have to dress up and I have to do this, that, which all I love to do. So but still, it fitness should always be right in front of you. There should be a strong reason that this defines a part of me. So this is going to be a part of my life, and it has to be there. If home is where I am staying 24 hours, it should have something which constantly reminds me why I am what I am today.
So you mentioned a very important point. Few years ago, like a decade ago, people did not have fitness as one of their targets in their daily lives. Like fitness was never considered. But now, with so much awareness, so many resources online, I've seen people transform, and I've seen that people have made fitness as one of the tasks they need to do after they wake up and before they go to sleep. So this kind of transformation, or the thinking that people have started doing, is really helping everybody around to be fit and to achieve that goal. um, One of the other questions I had for you was, how important is a degree to do anything in life? Say, for example, the fitness industry.
I would say degrees don't really matter as much. It's uh, no offense to people who hold a lot of degrees, but I would say that it's the intent that matters. If you have an intention to learn something, you don't need a degree for it, because uh, fortunately, unfortunately, the curriculum is not always made in a way which would help you all the time. So what I studied in engineering 4 years, I hardly implemented it. Even while I was working into IT for 6 years, I hardly implemented it. I had to go through a training process which taught me things which I am going to use. Of course, that it's not that engineering did not help me, that degree did not help me. It gave me that foundational skills that was required, on top of which. But I think that foundational skills are developed in school itself. So
Right.
schooling is very important. I would say schooling is very important. Up to 12th is extremely important. But after that, go ahead and do a degree. But don't do a degree because everybody is saying you to do so, or asking you to do so. Do something because you want to learn something out of it. There should be a right intent, and that is why I completely love doing a lot of courses. I've done so many courses. I've done courses on graphic design. I've done courses on life coaching. I've done courses on social media marketing, digital marketing, because it teaches various, and I've done multiple courses on that. Why? Because it teaches you multiple perspectives. So when you don't always have to rely on your experience to learn. You can learn from others experiences, and you have, if it requires you to invest some money on that, do that, because that is an investment. It's not an expense. You're learning something out of it. But I would not say, I would not give a lot of importance to degrees. It doesn't matter what degree you hold. It's what you are doing with your learning, how you're implementing it, and your eagerness to learn. You want to learn something about a topic, you read about it, you find a word which you don't understand, you read more about that word, then again you will find a word which you don't understand anything about, you read more about that. That's how you learn. That's how I learned about fitness. That's how I learned about social media, Instagram marketing stuff, branding. So I don't come from a marketing background, I don't come from a fitness background as such. I got into it, and I got into it because I had an eagerness to learn. Even before I did any of my fitness certification, I knew a lot about fitness. I honestly just enrolled and gave the examination, but I enrolled for courses because that gave me perspective. So
Um,
yeah.
how was your journey from fit scrambler to virtual extrovert?
Yes. So fit scrambler to virtual extrovert is basically defining my niche. So that was a niche switch that I did. So so in marketing, there is a technique. There are approaches, people say. One is an approach, a shotgun approach, and there's a rifle approach. So in a shotgun approach, you're just hitting shots, uh, um, and expecting that some of the bullet will hit on target. In a rifle shot, you try to shoot at your target. Okay. When it was a fit scrambler, it was my love for my bike. So I just joined because I was from fitness and I loved bikes. So I did a fit scrambler. But that was not solving a problem. I wanted to help a lot of people. When I got into fitness, my goal was to solve a problem, a gap that was there in the industry. What was the gap? Build fitness awareness. Awareness was a gap. Over years, I've realized that there is not so much gap right now. I've spent enough years filling that gap. Now, during those years, we created jobs for people, right? We made people entrepreneurs. So fitness coaches are mostly fitness entrepreneurs because they work on a commission model mostly. So they are entrepreneurs. They need to take care of their. They don't have a fixed salary. They don't have a health insurance from a company. So they are on their own basically. And as years passed by, a lot of people started showing interest in fitness coaching, and also other areas like fashion influencers and startups trying to work on their brand, trying to solve a problem. Then I realized there's another gap. These people have the right intent. They know that they are working on solving a gap, right? Filling a gap. But they don't know how to put themselves out in the market,
Right.
how to position themselves.
Right.
So there is this brand which started as a cafe brand, and uh, uh, they wanted to start a cafe, and they had a kids area in there. So, and they were besides a very famous cafe. I would not name it, but a very, very famous established cafe. And they wanted to put themselves out saying that we are a cafe for everyone. In today's world, you don't you don't try to be a Google for everyone. You have to be specific about whom are you trying to help, who are you trying to cater to.
Right.
Your audience, your target needs to be very specific. I would not say don't dig down deep so much so that there are very less people to help, because then you will not be able to scale it up. But it should be specific enough. Now when you're competing with somebody, this brand which was competing with a way which is competing with a very established cafe, how are you going to stand out? You have a kids play area. Call it a cafe for parents who have kids. Target them, because if kids love it, parents will have to bring them to you. Even though there is an amazing cafe besides it, they will have to listen to their kid at least once in a week.
Right.
So target it that way. So that is positioning your brand. You are telling the audience that this is what you are trying to help. This is the problem statement you are trying to solve. That is what a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of fitness coaches, a lot of coaches, a lot of budding influencers are not aware of. How do they position themselves? Do they need a lot of followers? Do they need to be an extrovert, or they don't need to be exceptionally good with dancing skills, or all the real specific skills? So virtual extrovert basically means that I'm not actually an extrovert, but digitally I would be the one speaking out. Why? Because nobody is going to speak for me.
Right.
That's the message I want to give. I'm virtually an extrovert. Inside, I might be an introvert. That's fine. But if my profession is that, if I am trying to scale it up as my profession, if I'm having to monetize it, I am the one who has to go out there where my audience resides. I cannot expect that the audience is going to find me somehow, because there is so much competition in the market. You need to penetrate the market and find your audience and be there. Show yourself up. So that was how Fit Scrambler changed to virtual extrovert. And now we have started this brand Oonchaee, wherein we help brands and budding entrepreneurs with their content strategy, with their social media, specifically Instagram.
Uh, yeah, that was going to be my next question. It's a two-part question. The first part is, what would you suggest a person who is trying to quit their 9 to 5 job and trying to move more towards setting up their own business, like an entrepreneurial journey? And how did you get the concepts of Ujjayi, and what is Ujjayi going to be?
Okay. So first thing first is when you are trying to quit your 9 to 5 job and you want to get started with your own brand, or you want to start something of your that you love to do, is like I always mention, build your financial, emotional, and mental stability, because that is extremely important. And I would not suggest anyone to just quit their job just because they thought so one day and they're done with it. Don't do that in today's world, because financial stability, emotional stability, all these things are extremely required for an entrepreneur. Because when you're quitting a 9 to 5 job, you are choosing a 24 cross 7 job for yourself.
Well
That
said.
24 cross 7 job doesn't seem like it actually seems more interesting than 9 to 5 job, is because you love doing it. So don't think of it as work. In a 9 to 5 work, you're thinking that, oh, I'm doing something for some other brand or someone else. So that attachment is not there. That's why people who don't like, not everybody hates a 9 to 5 job, but people who don't like 9 to 5 job usually think in that perspective, that I'm not working for myself. But if you're working for yourself 24 hours 7, you love it because you want to do it, right? But In order to do that, you need to have stability. If you are constantly worried, how are you going to meet the monthly needs, uh, basic necessities, you'll not be able to be creative. You'll not be able to focus on whatever you're doing. You'll not have that sanity to do that. So if you are planning to do that, at least for the next 6 months, start building your savings, start building your capital, save. If that thing is so important to you, spend some more time and save for that thing, so that at least you can feed yourself for 6 months. If things don't work out, then you can still go back, but you will never be in a position wherein you don't know what to do, or you can do nothing about it and you're just lost. Don't be that, because being an entrepreneur means you have to have your creative space open. You will be working on multiple things. You will not have most of the entrepreneurs will not have a lot of money to play around with and delegate work to people. So you will have to do a lot of work on your own, which means that you need to have stability somewhere so that you can focus on those things. Now, second question, the thing about Oonchaee is, like I said, um, I've been an educator with INFS. I have written books. I've authored books there. I was heading placement cell for INFS. Um, what I found was there is a lot of talent, a huge pool of talent out there. They all are so good with their technical skills. But fitness or any service-based industry is a service-based industry, which means customers are not going to buy what you are saying. They will look at what you're doing. They 67% of the buyers have, I mean, the digital journey is contributes to 67% of the buyer journey. So why is it so important? Why are brands spending so much on social media? Because in today's world, it's not like कि मैंने brand बनाया और people will listen to me. Brands today's world are based on a community model, which means it's not only you who create the brand, it's also the people who co-create it with you. It doesn't matter what you're saying, because the perception of people matters more. What people think about you is going to mask what you think about yourself.
Right.
So if you want that whatever you are thinking is what people also would want to talk about, or people also talk about you, so I am saying this and people are also saying this about me, that means you are a very good, you have a very good brand positioning. If these things don't match, then whatever you're doing, you're just, it's not effective, because it's an effect, there's no effective communication. Whatever you're trying to deliver, people are not understanding it, they're understanding something else, and that is not helping the cause. So that is so important, and that can happen with content. People are there on social media all the time. So over Instagram has over 1 billion monthly active users. So imagine Facebook, almost 25% of the world population logs into Facebook every month. So that's such a huge number. Social media is so huge that people, brands, or even personal brands, people's brands, they cannot ignore social media at all. This is where you build your brand awareness. This is where you build your brand recall. This is where you build a community. This is where you humanize your brand. Social media is all about being social. Irrespective, you're not a social person, you cannot ignore that, because people who are going to pay for your brand are there on social media. So you need to be social with them. It's so important. So, and for that to happen, people always prepare content from their own perspective and forget to look at what the audience wants to see. And social media is all about that. If your audience is not liking what you're posting, it's not high quality. Even if it means a high quality for you, It's not a high quality for your audience. And what matters in social media is a high quality for your target audience. So that's what Oonchaee is going to help people with. It's already helping few brands and people, and that's what we aim at. We need to fill this gap wherein the entrepreneurs are able to convey the right kind of message to their buyers, and by with buyers they build a community.
Sir, again, you have great content on Instagram. Please keep on putting this great content. I personally follow a lot of your content. I enjoy reading it. I enjoy implementing it. The one other thing that I would like to thank you is you coaching me on my fitness journey. That was very important. Because of that, I kind of gained some self confidence, which probably I had lost because of not being in shape. But today I feel very confident about me. So thank you for that. You are one of the coaches on the FITTR platform that is on the advanced plus level.
Advanced
Only
plus level.
few
Yes.
coaches reach there. With you have done 2200 plus transformation. Is that right?
Yes.
That's right. And please keep on bringing this fitness into people's lives, and which makes them happy. If anybody has to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you?
So they can reach out to me on social media, which is virtual extrovert.
On
I'm
Instagram?
on Instagram. Yes, so that's the best way they can reach out because I'm very active there. And yes, or if they want to reach out to me, they can reach out to me on contact@oonchaee.com. OONCHAEE.com.
Thank you so
Contact
much.
person.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much for doing this. And have a nice day.
Thank you so much for bringing me here, Srijit. It was lovely speaking with you, and see you soon. Thank you so
See you
much.
soon. Yep.